Bureau. Kendall Rogers joins us from D1Baseball.com. Kendall, we are obviously going to drill down on the Hattiesburg Super Regional in just a second. But before we do that, I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. I don't want to have recency bias. But I cannot remember a more exciting 3 days of baseball than we had Saturday, Sunday, Monday in the postseason. I just can't remember one period. There may be a postseason that stands out to you more, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, if you think about just all the different regionals, you had the drama in College Station with TCU and A&M. You had the Oklahoma State, Arkansas. Then what happens like last night? Like it looks like Texas State. You're like, wow, Texas State's about to actually host a regional. And what happens? Stanford, bam, 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 game over within like 10 minutes. And Stanford won. So I thought that was like the perfect culmination to what was an insane weekend. And so I'm with you. I can't remember a weekend of regionals in the last decade that got even close to what we saw over the weekend, which is kind of funny because if you think about it, the opening day of regionals this year was very chalky.
Yeah.
There were not a lot of upsets. There were not a lot of just, on the edge of your seat games. And, boy, did that change pretty quickly.
It did. All 16 one seeds won their opening round game. And I'll give you, a lot of years I've been working during regionals, and so I haven't been able to sit and watch all of them at the same time because I was focused on the game that was happening right in front of me. Or I was at an Ole Miss game, if they were in a regional and following that. But, man, the drama of you got 4 or 5 games going that are all in the 7th inning or later, and they're all 1-run games or 2-run games or tied, and it's just like this back and forth. I just thought this was a really, really good weekend for college baseball, and I would love for the people who are in charge of college baseball to figure out how to capitalize on that momentum instead of just it ends and now we'll start over again next year.
No, you're right. It's a great product, and I get it. If you look at like the Oklahoma State Missouri State game, 29-16 is not necessarily a great product, but the fact that Oklahoma State was down 12-0 in the 4th inning of that game, and it ended up 29-16 is honestly kind of unbelievable. Like I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Like I wonder how many miles that Oklahoma State runners ran on the base paths. Like, I mean, they were literally on the bases the entire, last 6 innings. Like or last 5 innings. How many miles did their runners run in that game? And so it was just a crazy weekend. And I just think as you look at the Supers, I'll tell you what, it's hard to beat what we saw over the weekend. But you can bet there will be some Supers that will go, you know what, this is even better than last weekend.
Yeah, that may very well be the case. I don't know that we've got time to get into all of them this afternoon. Let's start, though, with Southern Miss, who wins the Hattiesburg Regional. We started talking with you, Kendall, in early April about, okay, is this Southern Miss team going to have enough to be a regional host? Are they going to be a top 8? They get the host opportunity and then delivered and really did so in pretty dramatic fashion. After losing to LSU, they have a 9th inning comeback and go to extra innings to beat Kennesaw State to eliminate them. They survive with a win against LSU, and then yesterday in a winner-take-all game with the stakes so incredibly high, they deliver at the end.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing when I look at Southern Miss that I thought, and we kind of talked about this, I think, last week, that was going to be a big key for them in this regional is can they go toe-to-toe with LSU's offense? We knew they could pitch, but when LSU kind of punched back at them offensively, would Southern Miss have enough offense to kind of deliver the return punch or even the knockout punch? And the answer to that question was yes. And so, we talked so much about the pitching with Hunter Riggins and Dalton Rogers, the Stewart kid and more. But, I mean, their offense really – Carson Paetow and that offense really, really stepped up when they needed them against LSU because LSU, as we saw against Kennesaw and against Southern Miss in the first meeting, is they're really, really hard to knock out just offensively. And so you got to be able to go toe-to-toe with those guys, and they did that. They get another offense this weekend in Ole Miss who I also feel like is clicking on all cylinders. And I kind of go back to – even the Missouri and A&M series, I was just on a College Station radio station saying the same thing about Ole Miss. And I even thought that weekend that they played A&M, I actually thought they played pretty well. I think A&M just kind of ran away with the last game. But I thought Ole Miss played pretty well, especially offensively. And I think they kind of carried that into the postseason. And this is a series that could go either way. And I think both of these teams are playing really, really good baseball.
Well, one more thing on that final game between Southern Miss and LSU. You know, you think about the ebb and flow of a baseball game. Southern Miss comes out of the gate, boom, Carson Paetow goes deep, solo home run. And then that's all in the top of the first, but then LSU answers with 3 runs in the bottom of the first inning, and you're looking at this thing going, uh-oh, here we go, hang on. And then the game just really kind of settles in all the way to the 9th inning, and it turns out not to be a slugfest, but a pretty well-played game. Yeah. It's kind of crazy to see how the flow of a baseball game doesn't always match the way it starts.
No, you're right. It's kind of crazy how that can happen. I mean, we go back to kind of the Oklahoma State-Missouri State game in the sense that like that started out the way it did and the way it ended. But yeah, it just takes, one little bit of momentum from a team, whether it's offensively or on the mound, and all of a sudden the whole complexion of the game changes. The thing I really like about Southern Miss is, they're able to really mix and match a lot on the mound. I mean, when you look at their pitching staff, whether it's Tyler Stewart or Riggins, Rogers, Hall, they can just kind of mix and match with teams. And there just aren't a lot of teams in college baseball, at least this year, that have A, stayed healthy, and B, have that kind of depth. And so they're a really, really good team. And I thought that all year long, and they just kind of reinforced that thought over the weekend against LSU.
All right, so Ole Miss and the Coral Gables Regional, their first game against Arizona, it's tight, and then Chatagnier delivers the big blow. He has 5 RBIs in that first game. Then just a gutted-out win against Miami, 2-1. I don't know that there are a lot of people that a month and a half ago thought Ole Miss could get anywhere close to pitching a game the way they did there. And then yesterday, it's 5-5 in the 5th inning, and then it's 22-6.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing about yesterday's game is that didn't shock me whatsoever. I think when you look at, Ole Miss's offense against, Arizona with Chandler Murphy, I mean, Arizona's pitching, especially as you get down the line, isn't very good. And so that didn't surprise me at all. Of course, Tim Elko had the game that he always seems to have in a big situation. But, if you look at the other games, I mean, they pitched well. I mean, Hunter Elliott certainly, I wouldn't say pitched like his best game of his career, but like he was pretty solid. And
he survived.
Do what now?
He survived.
Exactly, and that's all you need in the postseason. Like, you don't need a guy to go out there and give you a 2-hitter. You usually need to go have a guy, especially when you have a bullpen like Ole Miss does with Brandon Johnson and Josh Mallett and some others. You just need him to be able to give you 4 or 5 innings, turn that thing over the bullpen, and see if they can kind of take the rest. And so I like the way that team played over the weekend. They were able to get it done on the mound in one of the games. They got it done offensively in the rest. And, Peyton Chatagnier is another guy that, we talked so much about Tim Elko and some others. Kevin Graham's return certainly been big for them. I'll tell you what, that guy has come up big or come up huge in some big spots this year. And there's no more indication that the balls this year in college baseball are juiced more than Peyton Chatagnier. Does he have double digit, or is he like 1 away from double digits?
No, he's in double digits now. I was actually looking as you were saying that. He's 10. I mean, 10 or 11.
Chatagnier is double-digit home runs. I mean, that's mind-blowing to me. But
he's
give him
11.
credit. Yeah, exactly. Like the fact that that's happened is pretty incredible to me. So again, the thing about Ole Miss too that I like is they're kind of playing with house money. Like they're not the team going into the weekend to me that is nervous. I think the team that goes into the weekend that maybe has a little bit more pressure is Southern Miss. They're at home. They're playing an in-state, I wouldn't say an in-state rival, but they're playing an in-state foe that everybody thinks in this kind of season they should beat. And so I think all the pressure is on them to win this weekend. It's not on Ole Miss.
So who's going to win this weekend?
Boy, that's a tough call, dude. I don't know if I'm ready to
I don't disagree with you. I'm not ready to answer that question, but
yeah,
that's what you do for a living.
I don't think I'm ready to answer that question. I mean, so here's my thing. I feel a lot better about Southern Miss on the mound, especially when you condense things. I think when you can stretch them out a little bit, it gets a little more difficult for USM. But I like what they have in a short regional or a short super regional like that, a 3-game series. But then again, I think I like what Ole Miss has offensively more. So, I mean, there are really a lot of different things I like about it. I think if you had to just tell me right now, I have to pick somebody, I think I like Southern Miss at home after just finding a way to beat LSU last weekend. That tells me they can go against a team like Ole Miss and find a way to win. So I think I like Southern Miss right now, but, man, I'm definitely not 100% mind made up on that one.
All right, Kevin responds on the C Spire text line. He says 90 feet per base, 360 feet per time around the bases. That's 29, 10,440 feet, 10% rounding up on bases. He's going with 2.2 miles.
See, there you go. Kudos to that guy.
Smart listeners.
That's really smart.
Kendall's going to be a fun weekend. Thanks so much.
You got it, brother. Talk to you later.
Kendall Rogers from